It's time for the Brown Sports Bag on WCLU, the official local sports show here in Glasgow and Barren County. And now, alongside John Butler, here is your host, James Brown.
Welcome back this week. The Brown Sports Bag presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. We have no coaches in here because we have a lot of football to talk about. I tell you what, John, we got as lucky as we've ever been on a night where we've had one of these bowl games, because we've had some bowl games through the years on that Friday night where Barren and Glasgow were playing, or there were two games being played on that night. And we didn't get out of there till midnight, 1 a.m. because, we had heat delays and weather delays and delays upon delays. And Friday night was perfect in terms of the weather. It didn't take long to play the games, except for the fact of the penalties that were called in the two games, which slowed them down. But in terms of the actual pace of the games of the teams playing, they were playing at a pretty good pace. It's just the penalties were a lot in both those games. And I guess that's a lot of times that happens in the first games of the season. Seemed a little excessive, but, everybody's first game of the season for everybody, John.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, first of all, you're right. The weather was great. Sometimes it's a little tricky this time of year when you're playing back-to-back games with especially heat or sometimes lightning and things like that. So the weather was good, and so both games went off without a hitch, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
There were a lot of penalties, in particular a lot of holding penalties, which was oftentimes you see early in the year procedural penalties and things like that, but was a lot of penalties in both games. But other than that, everything went off fine.
Yeah. And in the opening game, Glasgow beat Clay County, Tennessee, 49-0. The Scotties got off to a little bit of a rough start because they muffed the opening kickoff and gave Clay County the short field. But they were just, sandbagging them until they could, on 4th and 18 or something like that, Jarek Martin could pick off a pass and take it 85 yards to the house. A lot of times, that was the opening scoring for that game, and then Glasgow just rolled on from there. And a lot of times, in those situations on those 4th and longs, you just want the defensive back to bat the ball down. But Jarek Martin said, no, thank you. I'll just take this and get our first points on the board there, John.
A little bit hard for me to evaluate that game, to be honest with you. Glasgow won 49-0, won easily. Clay County, Tennessee was I'm not for sure how good they were, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah.
They only brought 20 players, and their quarterback was out.
Yeah.
So they were kind of overwhelmed. There were 2 interception returns for a touchdown. Just not only Jarek Martin, 85 yards, but Jalen Bradley had a 67-yard one. So it's a little kind of difficult for me to evaluate. I mean, the key players for Glasgow, obviously Jalen Bradley and Jarek Martin with they've got great team speed in the background. Hudson Gum at quarterback and got the bull kid and things like that. So you can see the parts to Glasgow, and I don't think they showed a lot.
No.
First game they didn't need to show very much, to be honest with you, to get through this game or whatever. But I know Coach was not thrilled after the game. You could just listen to his, Jackson Arnett was not thrilled. You could listen to his interview afterwards. Too many penalties. We could say that both games,
Right.
And some other issues that they had. But overall, for your first game as head coach at Glasgow, you got to be happy with a 49-0 win.
Yeah, and you're right. I don't think they showed a whole lot. They did demonstrate that they've got 2 guys. I mean, we knew about Jarek Martin and we knew about Jalen Bradley, athletically speaking, but we just hadn't seen him utilized the way that he was utilized, especially coming out of the backfield. He ran a few times between the tackles, but swing passes, getting him in open space to throw the ball to him. And then, of course, Bradley and Martin on defense. You throw the ball, it looks like that defense that Glasgow is playing, if you're forced to pass against them, they drop into this zone and they just cover so much territory with it. That is probably the thing that has most impressed me when I saw Glasgow against Logan County in the scrimmage and against Clay County. And maybe Clay County, without their quarterback, we don't know what their passing game really looked like. But we do know that in 2 games that I've seen them play, and they get you in a passing down, it's a dangerous proposition for the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, because, Jack Martin's, 6'4"?
Yeah.
I mean, we know what a great athlete he is, whether it's football, basketball, or he was state titleist in track and field this year.
Yeah.
And Jalen Bradley, a great athlete. I mean, Glasgow has really good, skilled players and so forth. But it will be – I think it's fair to say Barron's a whole different animal than Clay County, just with Barron's size.
Yeah.
Barron has great size and so forth, and Glasgow will present a whole different animal than Southwestern for Barron too, because of team speed and things like that.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's between the penalties,
right,
and in that first game, and then kind of the choppiness of the game and so forth, and Clay County really not having much of a threat offensively. It was kind of a tough evaluation for me. Glasgow probably got more out of their scrimmages than they got out of that game.
Yeah.
Other than getting your first game jitters out of the way.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Barren County win. They beat Pulaski County 12-6, and they had a big play early. Well, I say early in. With the pass play from Briggs Harris to Jordan Harris, that was their first touchdown.
Yeah.
And then
39 yards.
Yeah, and then they added on another touchdown later on, and they were up 12-0. It wasn't that Barren County couldn't move the ball. They actually did. It's just that they could not keep drives going back to talking about the penalties.
Penalties. Again, I would say in both games there was probably 40 penalties. Not all accepted.
Right.
There was 20 that were accepted in the Barron game. Some declined and so forth, and it seemed to be just as bad in the first game. So it was, again, hard to kind of get a handle on certain things. But from the Barron perspective, I think it was a good win. They had some very important players that were out, did not play.
Right.
Southwestern, I thought their quarterback struggled too.
Yeah.
But they've got some pretty good skilled players, some quickness back there, and they were big.
Yeah.
Offensive line, defensive line was good size too. I mean, they looked like a Southwestern team in the past, to be honest with you, in that regard. So I thought it was overall a pretty good win. Barron led 12-0 most of the game, and Southwest threatened late, scored in the fourth, and had the ball inside the 30 with 30 seconds to go. I thought it was a good win for Barron because Briggs Harris got his first action at quarterback, replacing Tate Spillman. I thought he did a good job.
Yeah.
Didn't throw it a lot. He was very efficient, 2 out of 5 for 49 yards, but he did have the touchdown pass. He also ran it for 59 yards. Mm-hmm. So he also had the key interception to end the game too. So he, I thought he played well. Corbin Wells was tremendous.
Yes.
He got his first action on offense. He was the fullback, carried it 13 times for 86 yards. He also had 18 tackles. Had a big night, the big day to say the least. So
he's the returning leading tackler from last year.
He did,
right?
and he followed that up. And Barron had 3 interceptions. We talked about Glasgow's secondary with the 2 interception returns, but Barron had 3. Jordan Harris, Jackson Bird, and Cam Crawford. Not Jordan Harris, I'm sorry. It was Briggs, Jackson Bird, and Cam Crawford also had interceptions. And I think what Barron may have gotten out of the game, maybe more than Glasgow got out of their game, is Barron had to play for 4 quarters.
Yeah.
And they had to play down the stretch because they had to hang on at the end with Southwestern rallying. And Briggs Harris made the big interception with about 15 seconds, less than 15.
Yeah, it's like 12.3, I think, something like that.
Seconds to go, intercepted right around the 1 or 2 yard line to kind of seal the deal.
Yeah. I thought if there was anything from the game for Barren County, this considering how the offense couldn't maintain drives and so, couldn't dominate possession necessarily. Excuse me. The defense played extremely well in the game.
They did. Yep.
All right.
They had them shut out until, like I said, the third quarter, and fourth quarter Southwestern finally got on the scoreboard and give Barron credit. I mean, they hung on, and it was a game of attrition. A lot of cramps in the second half of it. A lot of Barron's players, because of some of the some of the players that are out had to play kind of both ways, and I think fatigue kind of set in a little bit because they had to play the whole time. It wasn't just didn't have a nice lead and you could sub out and things like that. They had to earn that, and I think that was probably the perfect kind of game for them, kind of get them back down to earth. Out coming off last year, they had to fight and struggle to get the win, and they managed to get a win, and that, of course, that will clearly set things up for this Friday night against Glasgow. Should be one heck of a game.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that in our second segment and talk about some other games around the area. We're going to kind of preview this Friday. This is the Brown Sports Bag presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. We'll be right back.
Presented by McDonald's of Glasgow, it's back to the studio with James and John, the Brown Sports Bag.
Welcome back to the Brown Sports Bag. James Brown, John Butler, presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. John, let's talk about this game that's coming up Friday, because it's Barren and Glasgow playing again for the third time since the renewal of the rivalry, and we're split 1-1. The first one was a barn burner in overtime at Glasgow. Last year, Barren won the game. I think the final was 23-7.
It was close for most of the game, though.
Yeah, it was. The gap was bigger because Barren tacked on a touchdown. I think last 2 minutes or so, just like an insurance touchdown. But Glasgow struggled on offense the whole game, and Barren didn't really struggle on offense. They had turnovers and things of that nature that then allowed Glasgow to hang around kind of in that game. So, and I think as it turned out, as the course of the season went, Barren probably was the better team last year.
Yeah, I believe that's fair.
And right now, I don't know who I would think is the better team. I mean,
it's just started. So,
yeah, right.
You won't know until how everything plays out.
Yeah.
Playing the second game of the year, there's still a lot of growth in both teams, I would think.
Yeah. If you go back to last year and you look at the teams, Barren was bringing back a lot of starter experience. So
they had a new coach too, though.
They had a new coach, but hey, he wasn't new like
but it was a new coach. It was a brand new system.
Yeah. So you didn't know how that part was going to pan out.
That's correct.
But they did play a little deeper in the season, and so we had an idea like how the teams were functioning at that point.
Yep.
And so you could say that you could anticipate Barren to be the better team last year just because of who they had coming back and that kind of thing. Now, it turned out to be a historic season for Barren. We didn't really anticipate that part. This year, I'd say that it's a different way around. As a matter of fact, it's a mirror kind of the last year. Going back to what you just said, Glasgow's brought back a ton of experience, a lot of guys who started, but they have a new coach.
New system
that they're trying to learn, and that means, and we're a little closer to the start of the season, so those wrinkles are a little, I don't know, more prominent now in terms of trying to get them ironed out. So I think that makes this a little more interesting. The Barren County players, even though they've got some guys who are first-time starters in their positions playing, have been in the system for a whole extra, year more. And so I think that makes things interesting.
Barren, what's interesting, though, is that Barren has it's probably the lowest amount of seniors I can ever remember. They only have 6 seniors.
Yeah.
They actually started 2 freshmen.
Yeah, it's been a long time since they've had that few in a senior class.
And one of their running backs who carried it like 6 times was a freshman, too. So they utilize a lot of freshmen and not a lot of seniors, which is, they had a pretty big senior class last year. But outside the freshmen, they are experienced, though. The sophomores and juniors, especially the junior class is a really experienced class because they played a lot as sophomores and some even as freshmen. But I think it should be a really good game. I mean, it's 2 teams that maybe a little contrast to styles. I think Barren, size-wise, especially on the offensive and defensive line, probably has a size advantage on the line and so forth. Glasgow has now Barron's not slow. Barren has some good team speed, but Glasgow has a couple of really dangerous big time players in Bradley and Martin and some other kids as well. So they have the more probably explosive players out there, though. Briggs Harris and Jordan Harris and Jackson Bird got some pretty good speed too.
Yeah.
So it's probably, as a lot of these games will come down to sometimes turnovers. Who can sometimes it's who can avoid the big play, the big mistake, interception returns, punt blocked or things like that. And can Barron dominate the line of scrimmage? I think those are kind of the things to kind of be looking for. Can Glasgow strike with the big plays? If I'm Barron, I'm going to try to take away their big plays as much as possible, try to keep the ball, and try to wear down Glasgow with Barron's size. That's what I think Barron is going to try to do, and like I said, avoid giving up those home runs that Glasgow is more than capable of getting.
Yeah, you would think, going back to what we're talking about that first segment, the big play capability of Martin and Bradley especially, but also, Glasgow's quarterback Hudson Gum. They've got 2 or 3 other guys who we didn't get to see a whole lot in that Clay County game just because they didn't have to use them.
They didn't, that's right.
That also have some, big play capability, I think. But I think you kind of look at that and say, if you're Barron, you would rather see those guys on the defensive side of the ball than on the offensive side of the ball. You want to keep them on the field on defense, as you were saying, controlling that time of clock and that kind of thing. I still think it comes down to that. Part of the reason is not just because of like Glasgow's team speed or the speed of specific players, but also the style of play for Barren County versus what it looks like Glasgow wants to do this year.
Yeah, I mean, Glasgow is more of they're in a spread and shotgun a lot, and they're trying to probably spread the field out and get the ball in space to some of their playmakers. I think it's fair to say that. And because it looked like Barron defensively, they were pretty good. They had the 3 interceptions, and they've got some pretty good size up front. And their linebackers, Barron's linebackers, are really good.
Yeah.
So I would think Glasgow would try to probably spread the field out a little bit more and go that direction against Barron and see if they can strike that way. And Barron, on the other hand, going to run that wing tee, and they're going to pound the ball inside with Corbin Wells and so forth, and then play off that, whether it's faking that and look to strike big play in the air, or Briggs Harris keeping it himself and running some options that way. I don't think there's, even though it's the second game of the year, and there'll be probably some wrinkles that neither team has seen, I think for the most part you can kind of see how the makeup of both teams is going to play out.
Yeah.
And probably more so with Barron because they have the film from last year.
Right.
Than Glasgow with Coach Arnett, though. I think Coach Arnett it's not his first go around too.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think if you wanted to do some film to try to figure out what Glasgow wants to do, you can probably study a little Boyle County from the last couple of years. Maybe even go back to his time when he was at Barron to see what he likes, what he likes to try to get done.
Right. I do think it's going to be a good game.
Yeah,
I do.
I do too.
I don't see blowouts in any way, either shape. Just the rivalry in general, how they played the last couple of years, and you just watch both games. Even though, like I said, both games are a little bit choppy, I think you can see the makings of the. I'm convinced. I think Glasgow's going to have a good year, and I'm convinced that Barron, if they can stay healthy in the right spots, I think they're going to have a good year too. Though Barron's schedule can get a little tricky.
Yeah.
There's some pretty good teams on that schedule coming up too, and I do think Glasgow. I think their district. I think they're going to be in really, really good shape.
Yeah. To that end, away from this game, I mean, because we didn't. I guess the keys to this game, if you are Glasgow, is you need to hit some big plays. You don't need to get into a grinded out game with Barron, at least from what we saw from Friday.
I think that's fair, and I think the same keys apply to both of them in terms of limiting turnovers too. I mean,
can't give away anything for free.
That's correct.
Because if you're in a hole, probably with either one of these, you're in a bad situation.
Those are things to win big games. It's sometimes it's not the plays that you make; it's the plays that you screw up.
Yeah.
It's those key. It's the key turnovers.
Yeah. It's not what you did well.
It's the fumbles, it's the mistakes, and hopefully both teams will clean up the amount of penalties. That were out there.
You mentioned the district. We saw that Hart County lost the game on Friday. That's
against Logan, but it's close. So
it was 19-15, not 14, I think. Adair County got run over pretty hard
by Russell County.
Yeah, by Russell County. Then we look over in Barren County's district. Bowling Green got beat by Owensboro Catholic on Saturday night. Now, does that mean Bowling Green is not as good as they have been, or is that how good Owensboro Catholic is right now?
A couple of things. Owensboro Catholic's in the top 5, but Bowling Green tends to lose that first game. It seems like to me every year.
Yeah.
They lost last year too.
Yeah.
To Lexington Christian or whoever it was. They got beat last year.
Seems irrelevant.
Their best player, Carruthers, is that their best?
Yeah.
He was hurt.
Yeah.
He played maybe the first quarter and didn't come back in. So there was a lot of things. Bowling Green could easily start off 0-2. They got St. X this week.
Yeah.
Probably will start off 0-2. But
Yeah.
Bowling Green's Bowling Green. Greenwood won out of Barron's district. I do know Grayson County won. Warren Central didn't. They lost.
Lost to Monroe.
Yeah. So, it's look forward to it Friday night. And, this week is going to have a big celebration, I think, on Wednesday, the build-up and so forth. I was just – the last 2 years they played with all the build-up have been they've been really good games.
Yeah.
With not many penalties, and the players have handled themselves tremendously.
Yeah. It's been a good renewal of the rivalry. And you're right. The pep rally is Wednesday, 5:30 to 7:30. We're going to be on air for some part of that time. Try to talk to some people, about the game and maybe some other athletes from Glasgow and Barren County. So we'll see how that all goes. Of course, we'll broadcast on both frequency on Friday night. We'll have the Glasgow on 103.1 WCLU Blue with Joe Myers and his crew, and then the Barren County on 104.7 WCLU Burgundy with Jay Turner and yourself, and I guess maybe Robert Bauer with you guys.
Right.
So we're going to have the crews, and then we'll have our own video, the video for the Glasgow and the video for Barren. So you can flip back and forth and watch both, however you want to go about it. So we'll have it all covered on Friday night. Anything else about the game coming up Friday, or any games from this past weekend that stood out to you?
No, I mean, we mentioned the Bowling Green getting upset by Owensboro Catholic. That was probably the biggest game around here that I can think of. Monroe beat Warren Central? It's not a surprise at all to me.
Yeah, beat them handily.
A lot of schools played Tennessee and Indiana schools, which I'm not really sure.
Yeah. I mean,
why all that much? But there's a ton of those. And I've got no read on Tennessee schools or Indiana schools.
No, because we had Station Camp up here playing. I think they played Warren East, and
somebody played Greenwood from out of the state.
Yeah, that was Floyd Central out of Indiana.
Yeah,
and then White Station or whatever played Franklin Simpson. I think.
Yeah, South Warren destroyed Lexington Bryan Station, who's good.
That's
like
right.
56-33. That's
and it wasn't that close. I mean, they were beating them pretty badly all the way through.
That's pretty good performance.
Yeah.
So.
All right. This is Brown Sports Bag presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. We'll be right back.
Presented by McDonald's of Glasgow, it's back to the studio with James and John, the Brown Sports Bag.
Welcome back to the Brown Sports Bag. This is James Brown, John Butler, presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. We're going to take a turn. We're going to stay on football, but we're going to talk some college football and some NFL predictions. John Butler, he's into this fantasy football business, and so usually one day we're gonna start a fantasy football show, and John's gonna run that. I think he's gonna make sure you people all win your drafts.
That's right. Since I can't win mine.
You'll help.
That's right.
That's like I tell people, I'm a better editor than I am a writer.
Right.
WKU opened its season on Saturday and beat Sam Houston State 41-27. I think they scored 24 unanswered in that game, I think is what it was.
Yeah. And their latest quarterback they brought in was that Maverick. Forgot his last name.
I know.
First name's Maverick.
It's like Maverick McHenry or something like that.
25 years old, I think, but came in from one of the Texas schools.
Was he at Texas Tech?
No, Abilene Christian.
Abilene Christian. Oh, that's right. He's one of those
and brought the offensive
guys.
Coordinator as well. He threw for 400
yards. It's like
yards.
the Dallas Baptist thing or whatever that was.
Yeah, it's very similar. Yeah, when Bailey Zappi came in. So it looks like, they were rolling offensively.
Yeah.
I mean, threw for 400 and something yards, and it kind of looked like, even though Coach Helton always says, he'll have a different offensive coordinator about every other year, it's clearly his offense the way he wants run because they all look alike.
Yeah.
It just depends on how good the quarterback is and receivers. And it's a good win for him. I had a great night to play. I have no idea how good Sam Houston was.
They were terrible last year.
I don't know. I do know. I was listening on the radio. There were, I believe I'm right, between the two teams, 100 and transfers for both teams when you combine something like that. So it's kind of hard to get that feel. But it kind of looked like a WKU team with Coach Helton, though. That's very good offensively and so forth.
I guess that's where we are. At least that's where he is he wants a certain style of offense, but instead of building it from the ground up, it's now, because of the transfer portal and all this kind of stuff, it's plug and play.
Yeah.
Can you find the offensive coordinator and the quarterback to go together that can come in there and do what you need them to do?
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. Yeah.
Which is kind of smart on his part. I mean, that means he's adjusted to the nature of things.
He's one of the first to adjust.
Yeah.
Because it's not like WKU's got a lot of money to throw around.
Yeah.
So they've got to go do it differently.
Yeah. Yeah, it's he's – this is the new age of back in the day when people would go and recruit the guys who were maybe two-star athletes, like two-star football players, but they were multi-sport athletes.
Yeah.
And they would plug them in on defense or maybe put them in at a skill position and then build around that idea. This is, I'm talking 20, 25 years ago when the mid-major schools – popped up and were pretty good. I mean, I think Louisville was one of these that kind of did this when they made that turn in the 90s where it's like, well, we'll find the people that the big schools didn't recruit, and then we'll put them in here at, athletes that we can then teach how to do something. This is the modern adaptation instead of just the athletes and that kind of thing. In the recruiting, we'll recruit people, but we'll find people that we can just plug into the system,
well,
so
it's
to speak.
very quarterback friendly.
Yeah.
And it's a system. Listen, if you're at the level of WKU, you have to have something to sell.
Yeah.
And it's got to be your offense and quarterback. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's and with the fan base at WKU, especially, it seems like when the weather is good, September, early October, and this was a 0 week August. People come out when the weather's good down there. As the year moves on. It's hard to draw people.
Yeah.
But they had a really good crowd down there.
Yeah. Going back to what you said, I mean, it is a kind of we are a quarterback use selling point for them. I mean, you look at Bailey Zappi and Mike White and just the different people they've had come through there that either, even if they're not starters in the NFL, they're staying in the NFL.
Absolutely. That's correct.
And, making a living playing professional football, and so you can come to WKU and Helton can sell that to you.
That's correct.
Also, if you're coming in and you want to be the offensive coordinator there, I mean, he's like, you can come here and then you can go somewhere else and elevate.
It's not a destination job.
No.
For a lot of them. And it is for Coach Helton, it seems like. He's very content there.
Yeah, it's a little bit surprising, I mean,
you got to be where you're happy and what you're comfortable with, and he's found a nice niche.
He liked it the first time around. He likes it this time even better, I guess.
That's right.
What about the game in Ireland? Did you like that?
I did not watch it. I did not watch it. But you find Iowa State and Kansas State. It was playing in the rain. I did see that. And Iowa State won. But like I said, I don't – it's just hard to – college football is difficult right now.
Yeah.
I mean, people are going to watch it, and it's, fun. But knowing who's on whose roster and all the changes that are taking place in terms of playoffs and the money that – I mean, there's just so many – it's such a difference between the schools that can pay $20 million worth of roster money and schools that can't. It's just it's really, really kind of tricky, to be perfectly honest with you, on who's got what and so forth.
Yeah. So the NFL season, we got a weekend, a little over a week.
Yeah, next Thursday's opening night.
So about a week and a half.
Dallas and Philadelphia. Yeah.
Yeah. So. When you're looking ahead to the NFL season and you're thinking, not just like from the fantasy football, but is there anybody in the NFC that's going to stop the Eagles from getting back to the Super Bowl?
Oh, NFC? Oh, definitely. It's hard to repeat.
Yeah, it is hard to repeat.
It's almost impossible to repeat. I mean, Kansas City did it 1-2 in a row.
Yeah.
So it's very, very tricky, even though Philadelphia was great last year. But, they're Barkley, the running back. It's rarely that you can run for over 2,000 yards and have over 300 carries and come back and repeat that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, if you're asking me, would I take Philadelphia or the other, 15 teams in the NFC, I'd take the field.
Yeah.
Who that would be, I'm not 100% sure right now who that team would be.
Do you have a preference on that?
Do I have a preference? Not really a preference. I think the better teams are in the other conference.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that.
But, will Detroit, after being disappointed in the first round of playoffs after they lose their coordinators, I don't know.
Yeah, I think losing Ben Johnson as a coordinator is going to be tough for
Right.
them.
I just don't know who that other team will be. I think the Rams could be good, but Matthew Stafford's had some injury issues.
Yeah.
Washington, Daniels had a great year last year, but it's hard to back that up your second year too. So I don't know if they're ready.
Especially when your number one wide receiver isn't there.
That's correct. So I don't. Well, he signed today.
Oh, did he?
He signed today.
I missed that.
Terry McLaurin signed today. So I'm not really for sure who it's going to be in the NFC. I mean, Philadelphia is the clear favorite.
Yeah.
Clear favorite, but it's. I'm just saying it's. They probably have a really, really, really good shot to get back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Do I think they're going to win it? I do not. But I can't think of a second team right now who I would put a lot of money on to beat them. I don't really know that. In the NFC, AFC, there's a lot of contenders.
I was going to say, so in the NFC, you would bet the field, but if you had to pick a head-to-head situation, you would go Philadelphia every time.
That's correct. They will probably be favored in maybe every one of their games, as long as their main core stays healthy.
Yeah. Well, also because their defense was fantastic.
They were. They lost some players.
Yeah, that's where it was going to be interesting.
They lost some, but most of them are back.
Yeah.
And their defense coordinator's back too.
Right. In the AFC,
totally different animal.
And I tell you what, here's the thing. I watched the two of the Chiefs' preseason games. Well, I watched the one that Patrick Mahomes played in, and that offense looked really good.
They do. There's a catch, though, at Rice, who they're probably their best receiver, is going to be suspended.
Yeah.
Probably 6 to 8 games.
Right.
So you got that going. But, yeah, I mean, they look like – but, again, they've been in the Super Bowl 3 straight years. Won it 2 out of 3. That's a lot of football, too.
Yeah, it is.
Travis Kelce looked like to me was starting to really decline, too.
Yeah.
They clearly can bounce back and win it. They got a great quarterback and a great coach. To me, it's Buffalo or Baltimore.
Yeah.
They got 2 great quarterbacks, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. It just seems like to me it's, when it's your time, it's your time. It just seems like it's one of those guys' times to break through and to win it. They're knocking on the door. Denver has made monster improvement last year. They got a great defense, great coach.
Bo Nix did look good also.
He really looked good. The Chargers looked really good, Can they make that extra step? So, I mean, I think – and, of course, you got the Bengals, got Joe Burrow, but their defense just didn't look to me good enough.
No.
But there's just so many – there's better teams, better quarterbacks in that league too.
Yeah, right.
I think there's 4 or 5 teams out of that conference that can win it. I don't know who other than Philadelphia can win it per se. I think there's just more question marks in the NFC.
Yeah. So I if you were to pick the one that you think can get through the Chiefs, because it's almost hit a point where it's like a middle block.
Baltimore, Buffalo.
Yeah.
Those 2 definitely can.
Either one of them could have done it last year, except for but this is kind of where we are. It's almost like
a play here or play there.
Yeah.
I mean, just like yesterday, Tommy Fleetwood won. He finally won his first PGA event, and that was in the finals at the FedEx Tour. And he had lost 3 of the last 5 tournaments. He had the lead going into the last 2 holes and choked it up.
Right.
But he kept putting himself in that position. He finally won it.
Yeah.
It's going to happen with Buffalo or Baltimore. I feel even better about Buffalo. It's those 2 are eventually going to get through, in my opinion.
Yeah, if you keep getting there, at some point in time, the chips actually fall in your direction.
They do. I mean, people, for some reason, the media they're so front-run oriented. I mean, about Josh Allen can't beat Patrick Mahomes in a big game. He took the lead 3 years ago at Kansas City in the conference finals, 33-31. He made a big play to put him up with 12 seconds to go, and Patrick Mahomes drove it 30 yards in 12 seconds for a winning field goal, a 50-something yard at the buzzer. That's not Josh Allen's fault,
He doesn't play defense as well.
I mean, stuff like that. So,
Maybe they should have put him out there to try to block the kick.
Yeah, I think one of those two teams are probably going to be there at the end.
And speaking of kickers, did you see the dude who hit the 70-yarder in the preseason game?
Yeah, the Little. His last name is Little, out of Jacksonville.
Yeah. I'm fascinated by the kickers, especially.
Well, he's probably not the best. The best in the league is the Cowboys catcher, Brendan Aubrey.
Yeah. I mean, this we've got some kickers out here in this preseason that are like just routinely hitting 55 to 60.
60 plus.
Yeah, 63-yard field goals.
Yep.
I think one had a 64 on Sunday or Saturday.
That's Aubrey.
Yeah.
He kicked one over 60 last year, too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just crazy the distance these kickers are getting on these kicks now.
Right. And got to get there, and it's also got to be accurate.
Yeah. I mean, they're down the middle, a lot of these. I mean, they're 60 yards down the middle.
Right.
So, I mean, going back to what we were just talking about, things falling in your direction, I mean, part of it, you don't even have to score the touchdown. You just got to get about the 35-yard line or so, maybe the 40.
Yeah, if you need a field goal or less, you don't have to drive it very far.
Yeah, I mean, so
the days of the prevent defenses have to be gone when it comes down to preventing a touchdown. One thing, but a field goal.
Well, especially with the kickoff rule this year, because, I mean, we see, you're going to get the ball at the 35 or returns up to the 40.
Possible, yep.
And so, I mean, you're talking about getting, 10, 15 yards in order to get in the field goal range.
Yep, I agree. No, I love the NFL. It's the best run league, in my opinion, of all pro sports, maybe other than hockey, and I don't keep up with hockey enough.
Right.
It has a hardcore salary cap. It's hard to be really bad.
Yeah.
And it's hard to maintain a lot of success because of the salary cap rules and so forth. And anybody, any year, can win it. Mm-hmm. Even the worst teams, there's kind of hope, with even Tennessee got a new first, quarterback. And Washington went from terrible to really good last year. So these things can change quickly. You can't say that in basketball at all.
No.
You can't say that in baseball very often either. Mm-hmm. But football, they've found the right recipe.
Speaking of which, before we get out of this segment, is there a team that you will you're like got circled and you're like, this is the team that's going to make the jump this year, sort of like the Commanders did last year? Is there one that stands out to you?
Well, Denver sort of made a jump last year. I think they got another jump in them.
Yeah.
They kind of made that jump, so we'll see if they can make another jump. I guess you could say. Off the top of my head, maybe New England. I like Mike Vrabel. I think the quarterback, they only won 3 or 4 games last year. I wouldn't be surprised if they get up to 8 or 9.
Yeah,
that's a good jump.
I think they in the AFC is one to circle. I think the Giants in the NFC maybe one.
Schedule's really hard.
It is hard, but they picked up some players that look like they're going to have an immediate impact for them.
Yeah, they got a good defense. I mean, I don't have any faith in Russell Wilson, Jackson Dart. Look great.
I don't think Russell Wilson's going to be there any longer than they need him to stand in there, to just run the plays.
Yeah.
Because Jackson Dart's looked really good in the preseason. I know it's preseason, but he's run and thrown the ball exceptionally well.
Yeah, I think Seattle will be good too.
Yeah. All right, this is Brown Sports Bag presented by McDonald's Glasgow. We'll be right back.
Presented by McDonald's of Glasgow, it's back to the studio with James and John, the Brown Sports Bag.
Welcome back to the Brown Sports Bag. James Brown, John Butler, presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. Let's start off by talking about boys soccer here. We're going to talk some other area high school sports on our way out here today.
All right.
And we're going to start off with that because we're broadcasting the game between Barren County and Glasgow today.
I did not know that.
Yeah, 5:30. Augie Brown, Reed Hoffman are doing the broadcast.
Well, that's news. What channel?
It'll be right here on WCLU.
All right.
So it will be done here at 5, and then you'll hear the news live from Jake at 5 right as soon as we get out of here, and then we'll be going over there maybe 5 minutes after that. Or we may be going straight from the news to that.
Okay.
So, yeah. For those who did not remember this, back in the summer, Augie and Reed did play-by-play in color for the 12U baseball tournament out at Jackie Browning Park. And so we're switching it up. Augie's doing the play-by-play because he played soccer in high school, and Reed's going to do the color. So we're going to switch that up. It'll be here at 5:30 when that game gets started.
Okay, that's great.
And speaking of those two teams, Glasgow, what are they? 3-2-1.
Glasgow boys are 3-2-1. Yeah, got a win last week against East 6-1, and against Franklin Simpson 4-3, and they lost to LaRue 1-2. And Jared Milligan, he had 3 goals, and 1 goal. He had 7 goals last week.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yep.
Also kicked 7 extra points, 6 extra points on Friday night.
He's a field goal kicker. That's right.
So that was a good win against Franklin Simpson. Probably not a good loss against LaRue County. I think that was LaRue's first win of the season, so that was probably a disappointing. But they played those 2 games, one in the morning and one in the afternoon on Saturday.
Yeah, it's not easy to do.
Yeah, and so the key district game tonight, because I don't think Barron's played a district game yet.
They have not. Barron is 1-2-1.
Yeah.
They got their first win at Camelsville 4-1. Logan Gerber had 2 goals. And then they lost to Nelson 6-1.
Yeah. So
I think it's fair to say Glasgow will be a favorite tonight, right?
I would say so.
Yeah, they'll be a favorite, but probably should be competitive.
I think it'll be an interesting game because I don't know really what to make of either team just yet, because Glasgow's played well in some games, and they've had some games where they've not played as well as I think they're capable of playing. And I'd say the same thing about Barron. Barron struggled a little bit trying to score goals other than that Campbellsville game. And so I think both teams are still trying to iron out some things, so it'll be an interesting game. It's strangely enough,
Is this at Glasgow or at Barron?
It's at Barren County over there at the new field.
On the turf.
Yep.
Okay.
Because this district is a district where you don't want to be in the 2-3 seed spot when you play the district tournament, because Allen County's still not quite there as a boys program. So you really want that 1 seed if you want to get onto the regional tournament. It's going to be easier from that 1 seed than that 2-3 slot. So every one of these district games is a key game for these guys. And then the Glasgow girls are still undefeated, 5-0, John. They have one more win they need to get to tie the record, their wins for last season.
Yeah, it's just a great story. 2 years ago, like we mentioned, did not win a game. Last year they came back and won 4 or 5, and they've really built on that, and they are young too.
Yes.
Last week they beat Monroe 8-0 and came back and beat Warren East for the second time 1-0. And this, they're led by 2 freshmen. They got several freshmen, but Maria Ramos, right?
Yeah.
She's their leading scorer this year. She had several goals last week, and Madeline Newhouse, I believe, she had a couple goals too. Their goalie is it LaDeja Driver is really good, and they're playing with a lot of confidence too. And what a success story so far. They have come a long way and got a lot of young players, and it looks like to me they're going to be very formidable, not just this year, but in the future in this district.
Yeah, I mean, because you look at it, they have some seniors, but they are playing just a ton of young players, and not just the ones that you mentioned, but elsewhere on the field, on defense with Carolee Gentry, but then, they have Ava England at the midfield, who's one of the seniors. I think they have 3 seniors. LaDeja is one of them, so they will miss her, obviously, but it's just pretty impressive what they've managed to do and the confidence they're playing with for such a young team. And then, of course, they play Franklin Simpson on Wednesday at 5:30, which is the 2A sectional final. So that'll be an interesting game because Franklin opened the season with Barron and beat Barron's girls 4-3. So, even though Barron and Glasgow don't play until September 2nd, we'll see how they kind of match up with the team Barron's already played.
Yeah, and Barron got their first win last week. They beat Warren East 3-1, which is a district game, which was good, for them. Haley Mutter had 2 goals and assists, and Shelby Bird had a goal and assist. They lost to LaRue 1-0 and tied Ohio County 3-3.
Yeah, so they seem to still be struggling a little bit trying to figure out how to score goals consistently. Just when you look at their scores, sometimes – they have games where they do pretty well and games where they struggle a little bit. But, it'll be interesting how that district shapes out as well. The game that Glasgow won against Warren East on Saturday, as far as I know, did not count as a district game. That was a 2A sectional game. They still have another district game to play against Warren East later in the season. On the volleyball front, Barren County, boy, they opened the season playing a lot of games, didn't they, John?
They do that every year, it seems like. They played 8. The reason why they get so many in, they play in that tournament at
McCreary Central
on Friday, Saturday, or whatever.
Yeah.
and they went 5-3 for the week. I was just kind of looking at their stats. Ann Ashley Atkinson, see her play basketball. She had 58 kills and 22 blocks. And Hannah Bragg, another basketball player, she had 25 blocks in those 8 games. That seems pretty good to me.
Yeah. And then Glasgow, I think they are off to a little bit of a rough start. What is it, 1-4?
1-4, yeah, 1-4.
So they got to get that turned around. On the golf front, Barren County hosted the Trojanettes Invitational on Saturday.
Got some good teams in, didn't they?
They had good teams, but more importantly, they had I know they had 4 of the top 8 golfers in the point standing in the state.
Yeah.
So because Kenzie Whelan from Cumberland County, they don't have a whole team. So she came and played. Madison Glisson from Ballard Memorial, they don't bring a whole team. She came and played.
Marshall County.
Yeah, Marshall County with Trinity Beth, they played there. And, of course, Chloe Witcher's one of those top 4 players in the top 10 in the
Girl
state.
from Cumberland County won it, is that right?
Yeah, 3 under par, and Glisson was second with 2 under par.
And Chloe was like 4th or 5th, right?
I think she tied for 5th and was
shot
like
75 maybe.
Yeah, I think she was 3 over par and finished. Yeah,
another good performance.
Yeah, so I mean she's off to a great start. Those golfers I just mentioned, they are first, second, tied for 4th, and tied for 6th, I think, in the state and the all-state points. So the person who finishes the year with the most points is the Miss Golf.
Okay.
And so that's why this was kind of an interesting field, because you had 4 of those golfers competing against each other, maybe 5 against each other. I think the only one that was missing out of the top 5 was Carter Langford from Christian Academy of Louisville. So I mean, it was a good field of individual golfers. And then, of course, that kind of wraps it up for the show today, John. This is the Brown Sports Bag presented by McDonald's in Glasgow. We'll be back next week.
You've been listening to the Brown Sports Bag on WCLU. Be sure to join James and John again next Monday at 4 for another edition of the Brown Sports Bag.